it can't be that friggin' hard, right? Getting healthy, being healthy, staying healthy. I believe that having optimal health is the pathway to living a truly fulfilled life. I'm your host, Ashleigh Mythen, a qualified naturopath who's passionate about finding solutions to your health problems, because your health is my business and healthy starts here. Welcome to the show. This is part 2 of Kinesiology 101 with Lisa Carr. Enjoy.
And one thing I wouldn't mind as well talking about is because obviously you're kind of the crux of what you do is really kind of unblocking the blockages. So how do we know when we're blocked? Like what would show up for us?
So we would feel pain, ailments, any illness would be a block. They're the really physical ones. We could be feeling tense or anxious or low in our thoughts. We could be obsessing about things. We could be thinking about things with no resolution. We could be finding it hard to take actions that we know are good for us. We could be avoiding things that are good for us. Basically it's stagnation. So if we're feeling stuck in something that we can't move through, so we know all the right things to eat, but we're finding ourselves emotionally eating or stress release eating, things that we know don't have a positive effect, or we're feeling like we should get outside and go for a walk, but we just can't be bothered, or we're feeling negative, or we're looping, or we're obsessing about a friendship, or all of those sorts of behaviours would be a stagnation or an imbalance, and that would be present in your energy system. So it's like the same old pattern that we just can't shift. And we're also in those times we're drawn to things that keep us in stagnation, unfortunately. Something about our personality or our ego, it kind of wants to stay safe in the same, even though something new and fresh would be so much better. That's an old system that's just like, well, I know what to manage, and the unexpected's scary. So we do resist these things that are good for us. Anyone that's made a change or created a new habit knows this resistance. But yeah, in these states, we're sort of craving things that are going to continue that state. So we might want to have a drink of alcohol, or oversleep, or watch some trashy TV to distract us. So that's it. That's an imbalanced state. That's a low vitality state.
Beautifully said. And with your toolkits, what is it that the course that you're teaching, what is it that you're teaching people in that?
I'm just laughing because it's like, that's a good question.
Oh, thank you. I'm good. I'm like, maybe that was the wrong question. No,
I'm laughing because I've like you said, Ash, I like start talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, if you don't have a baseline of things that I have known for ages that I think of as normal, then you're probably just thinking what's going on.
Yeah,
so
and
getting more specific
is really good. And that's what I find when I talk to people about kinesiology as a modality that might be helpful for them. Their immediate question is not always, a lot of the time they do, there's a lot of people who do know about it and love it, but some people don't, and they're just like, I don't understand. So this has been great. You've really done a great job with explaining all that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And I'm constantly working on being clearer with what kinesi is,
yes,
how it can help. So, and that's why I'm laughing about my toolkit, because I think initially I wrote it and I put so much information into it because I was just so excited.
Yeah, of course.
And the feedback initially was like, this is great, but it's not super clear. And it's a bit much. So I've refined it quite a few times. So basically I've written this kinesiology toolkit, which is a do-it-yourself kinesiology. So it's a little kit that you can use for yourself to clear stagnation or for your loved ones. So it takes you through muscle testing. It teaches you the basics about the chakras and what they represent and link to. So I have a big chart of foods they link to and crystals and lots of different things. It goes into basic acupressure. So it gives an overview of the 5 elements in the meridians, and then it gives you the location and how to hold. I think I've got 8 sets of points that are just generic points that are good for lots of different things, like headaches or pain in the body or feeling calm or feeling grounded or thinking clearly in memory. And I also go into energy awareness in that toolkit as well, which is kind of like what we're talking about with vitality. Like, what's a low vibration, what's the high vibration, what's the negative energy, what's negative thoughts, what's entities, all of this sort of awareness of like otherworldly things that can impact our body system, the way we think, spaces, all of that sort of stuff. So I go into that as well. And I give a protocol of how to use muscle testing to navigate something that's going on for you. So you could have an ache or pain. You could be trying to move forward with something that's meeting a lot of resistance. You could be wanting to get some clarity on something that's going on for your little one at bedtime with fears or sleep. And this is a little process to identify what's going on and then apply some vibrational healing techniques to release it. So it's like, yeah, do it yourself at home. If you're into healing stuff, if you're intrigued by this sort of stuff, it's a little taster of basically how to be a mini kinesiologist.
Yeah, which I love. I love, and especially because working with that kind of, like you said, that iceberg, that deeper subconscious, I think can be really, really powerful. Is there anything, you know, for someone, like obviously, like you said, you have to really practice with the muscle testing to feel confident in that. Is there any way to maybe, is like a little takeaway for anyone listening today, like for them to maybe a way of them finding out what a blockage might be in their body and how they could release that at home, say?
So there is a way to self-test, which I could explain now. And how it works is, because there's different ways to muscle test. One way that you can self-test is you can link your thumb and middle fingers together on both hands to make a little circle. And then you link those together to make like a figure 8. So you've got 2 little links on both hands, creating like a figure 8 shape linked together. Then what you do is you say to your body, show me a hold or show me a yes. And then you try to pull your fingers apart, the link, right? And it should hold. That should give you a yes response or a lock. And then if you say to yourself, show me a no or show me an unlock, and you pull, it should unlock it feels impossible to hold on. And
I'm actually doing it right now.
Comes undone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I might even try and find a link first. I think just to give people a little taster about, you know, trying to play around with themselves.
Having a play.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome way that you can test. So then you can scan through different foods or ask questions to yourself. It's a bit like a pendulum. Like if you've used a pendulum before, it's similar. So if you had some energy blocks and you basically, you would know what those blocks are from, and you could use this link. You could be like, okay, just be an investigator. When did I start feeling this way? Was there anything going on? And then you might remember, like something comes into your mind, and trust that. It might be like, okay, I was feeling good, then I went to school, drop off, and I had this really weird interaction with a parent where they kind of looked at me funny, and then I felt off and strange and whatever. So that could be an energy block, an attachment sort of comes in, or something within you, a doubt or a worry or something gets triggered, right? So then you're like, okay, yeah, I think that began then. So, and then where's it in my body? Well, I kind of feel it in my hips. So then you could do the ring thing and go, yeah, it's presenting in my hips. And then you could just think to yourself, what do I need to clear that? Basically, to clear energy, we want to just create some movement. So it could be like a wriggle or a movement. It could be a stretch, or otherwise it could be like a sound or a light or something like that. So you could literally just do some like clapping or clicking. You could put some incense on and sort of clear around those areas, or some sage. You could just like visualize white light going into that area. So just visualize some beautiful white light cleansing and clearing that area. And with those couple of little tools of just being like, where do I feel it? When did it begin? Do I have an idea what it's related to? Even if you don't, just see if you can feel it in your body. Because often when we think about intuition, we think about our mind, but actually intuition is very in our body. So we'll feel an ache or pain, or we'll feel a discomfort, or we'll feel a tension or a pressure. If we think about and focus on that area, we might have a thought come in of a person or a situation, or we might be like, I'm an idiot, or whatever that self-talk is, and go, whoa, why am I saying that? I'm holding that in my neck. It's a judgment on me, and it's in relation to when I was speaking up about something, and that's not true, you know. So bring some white light into that area, give it a shake or a roll in the neck, and see if that sort of shifts it for you. So I hope that helps. It's just kind of talking to our body and focusing on things and knowing that we have the answers, and you'll get these random thoughts come in, and it might feel like you're making it up. But the more you start to trust that, that's your intuition coming in, and that's your body system being like, hey, yes, there is a tension or something manifesting for this reason, and it just wants that acknowledgement. So like you said, Ash, sometimes it's just putting it together is enough. Otherwise, we might be intuitively drawn to take an action to release that from our system. And that's a beautiful way we can start connecting with our body system and creating more vitality and energy and feeling better.
I love that. And I love Eckhart Tolle often talks about, he's a spiritual teacher, and he often talks about if you just like focusing your energy on like that pain or ache in that area, just like without any judgment, can be healing in itself. And that's kind of what you're saying. It's almost like just focusing in and seeing what comes up.
Even popping your hands, like often when we hurt ourselves, we naturally hold it with our hands. And just putting our hands on certain area, like we've got healing energy that comes through our palms, so it'll start to pulse and it'll start to feel better, and it'll be soothing. So even
comforting.
just comfort yourself, do something intuitive with your hands, and that would be huge. That would be really beneficial.
So what's one takeaway you would love someone who's listening to get from this podcast today?
Just on like what we were just talking about, your body talks to you. So your body is not a separate parts, organs, machine that has a certain area that malfunctions and that's that. Your body system is very complex and has layers. So creating a awareness of what your body's wanting to tell you. If you have an ailment or an ache or pain, anyone can Google what do shoulders represent metaphysically. It's about burdens. Am I feeling overburdened lately? Have I got a lot on my plate? Is there a way that I could alleviate that? Is there a stretch I could do? Could I cancel something that's not a necessity? Your body's talking to you. The more you listen, the more this stagnation or the symptoms that are presenting for you will alleviate, and then you will feel lighter and brighter and more vital. So, that would be a great takeaway. Just listen to your body. We are in a bit of a habit in the Western world of just wanting to mask or hide or take away those symptoms, and unfortunately then they just get louder. The body is trying to communicate with you, and it's always trying to find the equilibrium. It's always trying to help you to grow and be in your best, natural state of abundance and joy and vibrance. So,
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And often what I suggest to people as well, often it's like, if no one's ever kind of thought about it in this sense, it can be a bit, maybe a bit woo-woo for some people, but I think keep an open mind, I often tell people, because, it's not going to do you any harm to even experiment and see, okay, what's the emotional, metaphysical meaning of this, and does it resonate with me? Does it mean anything? Does anything come up?
Yeah, great tip, because it's so normal for me, but I am aware that like if you never thought like this before, it's like, what?
Like, what are you talking about? All this metaphysical emotions to do with like, my bowel pain. Like, what do you mean? But like, why not experiment? And that's what I say to people, just experiment, like use it as just observation, see what comes up for you, and does it connect with you on some level? And
it can't
why
hurt.
not? Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're in pain, and why not explore a different avenue to see if it relieves that pain?
Yeah, and look, and that's when a lot of people come to see me, Ash. They've explored other modalities and not had the results, or they've had other problems arise, and so they're like, oh, there's something underneath that. Like, how do I get to that?
And how do I fix it?
Yeah, that's right.
So what has been your biggest lesson or taken the longest to learn?
Oh,
big question, I know.
It is a big one. I would say something that I'm always working on is the balance between action and rest.
Yin and yang, that yin and yang again.
The yin and yang, the yin and yang. I get really excited. I have creative ideas.
I'm the same. I'm so the same.
I think a lot of people can relate to it. So it starts with the yin. You know, I get this inspiration or this idea, and then I start like actioning. However, I can get just a bit too all in, and it's kind of beneficial in a way because it helps me to just nut out every aspect and research and apply, actions and all of this sort of stuff. However, my biggest lesson that I'm always coming back to is how much do I go into that and how much do I need to then rest to top myself up and keep myself calm and in balance, because that obsessive excited state is a bit nervy and it's a bit tiring, and also it can stop me being present in my life. So if I've got a project that I'm really excited about, or I'm studying something or whatever, I can just be all about that, and then I'm like, hey, but my child is in the room, and they're telling me a story, or just that reality check of like, yes, Lisa, it's exciting, but we are a human being, not a human doing.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is great. Human being, not a human doing. That's great.
Yeah. So like, I think in the West, this is a very Western problem. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. It's like, we're so action and results, and we're like all about this superficial outer, like, what have I achieved? What do I look like? What have I created? However, like that beautiful inner world, and this is like what we're talking about with listening to the body and going within and meditating and exercising. The iceberg. All of that inner world. If the inner world's not right or in balance or rested, the actions are not going to be on the right track. They're going to be like, they're not going to have the momentum, and then it's just going to lead to frustration or pushing ourselves harder, and it just doesn't work. So, yeah. That's my biggest lesson. And look, I'm not an expert, but I have become better at being like, I've got this massive to-do list, but I'm tired today, so I'm going to do nothing.
Listening to your body.
Sit around. And then, Ash, after a few hours or after that day, I'm back and I'm like 100% in.
Yes.
And I can quickly do all the things that I had wanted to do within an hour that I would have stretched out over 6 hours because I was like half out of it and really exhausted. So I'm actually more productive by allowing myself to rest.
Yes, it's always the way it's so true. And often people think, oh, we just got to push through, but often taking that time to rest actually allows you to do more. So I couldn't agree more with that one.
And pushing through creates imbalance or injuries, or like if you're not stopping and your body needs you to stop, it will make you stop.
Yes.
It'll do something to make you stop. You'll get sick or you'll get hurt or you'll hit a big roadblock and avoid that.
Yes, we're all about preventative here. Absolutely. So why is being healthy or having a strong vital force important to you?
Well, I think it's important to everyone. And basically, I just like when I'm feeling vital and switched on and in flow and intuitive and I'm fueling my body with the right things, I am just on top of the world. I'm loving life. I'm just enjoy. I actually just think that's our natural state. And when you experience that natural state and then you experience the not being in that state, it doesn't feel worth it. So yeah, sometimes I eat junky food that I crave, or I don't do things that are good for me, or avoid that walk or whatever, but not for long, because I know what it feels like to feel really healthy because I've gone obsessively into that at times as well.
Yes.
In my excitement. And so
the middle way, it's finding that middle way, I think.
Yeah. So I can't remember the question, but what was it?
No, it was I loved what you were talking about. Why is being healthy or having a strong vital force important to you?
Yes. So I think I answered that. It's important because it feels so great.
Yes.
And
a great answer.
When you've got that comparison of what it feels like not to feel that, it's just like, why wouldn't I want to feel the best I can feel to get the most out of my life?
Absolutely. So name 3 things that you do every day that you believe are essential to living a healthy life.
Yeah. So I drink tons of water. We are water. Water can hold energy.
Yes.
And I literally drink so much. I will drink probably like 4 liters a day, maybe 5. Like I drink so much water. I always have. I believe it flushes my system and keeps me clear, keeps me functioning well. I think it's totally underrated. So that's one thing. Another thing is I try to every day set intentions for my day, because I believe that our thoughts manifest our reality and our perceptions manifest our reality. So if I'm not putting my order in, I am at the mercy of whatever's coming my way that day. So, which is nice sometimes. However, I really want to set clear intentions to co-create my life about what I'm wanting to achieve that day, how I'm wanting to feel, what my priority is, and what I'm working towards.
Can I ask what your intention for today was? Is that something you can share?
Yeah. So my intention for today was to have a really deep rest, because I've been in clinic the last 2 days and it's been quite big and it was beautiful, but I'm quite tired. And then I'll study all weekend down in Chelsea. So today I had the intention in the morning to have a beautiful big rest, and I was like, body, just let me know what you need. And like it's been pretty low key so far, like just resting.
Beautiful. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And so the last thing that you believe is essential, so water, setting an intention, and the third thing?
I would say gratitude.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So just really focusing, I think, again, with that busyness and getting out of balance, sometimes we can get so caught up in like, what's the next thing to do in our busyness, that we're forgetting to be like, hey, I'm in a stable home that I have that's beautiful and it's in nature, or I've got some loving relationships in my life, or just really focusing on the now and being grateful, because I believe gratitude really brings abundance to us as well. And it's just a beautiful way to be. It's a beautiful perspective to have. And it's just really helpful to be like, hey, let's just acknowledge all the great stuff right now. I find it grounding.
Yes, I do too. I have a gratitude practice as well. And it kind of shifts that state of mind, doesn't it, to that real kind of, well, like you were saying, that kind of more positive state and the more grateful state. You're more receiving as well on that kind of energy level.
Yeah, well, you're embodying abundance. You're like, I've got so much good stuff. And so then your body's like, good stuff all the time, my way, It's so good. Yeah.
Finish this sentence. Health to me is... Vital. Lovely. Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today. I'm so excited to share this. I know people will find this really interesting to learn more about kinesiology. I'll make sure to put all your links to your website and social media as well, so people can get in contact with you. And thank you so much.
My pleasure, Ash. It's always lovely to chat to you, and if it helps other people as well, all the better.
100%. That's why I did this podcast.
Yes, you're doing such a great job, and I love listening to it. It's nice to be part of it, and lovely to chat.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Thank you for listening. It can't be that friggin' hard, right? Be kind to yourself and each other. Till next time.